She's a big advocate in the mental health space.
Mm-hmm.
How does she help you with those challenges of being a pro NFL player? A lot of ups and downs,
man.
Maybe not having the confidence that you talked about.
I'm glad you brought that up, man. Me and her, man, we had a conversation before the first game. Like maybe, cause we get that break before, right after camp, you get that weekend. And I'm watching film and I said, babe, look at this. Like I thought I did. She's like, man, you look a little slow right there. And I'm like, girl, what you talking about? She's like, no, you just look like you thinking too much. And like, because I know who's like, anybody else, any other woman other than her, I'd have been like, man, what are you talking about? But she said that and she's like, I just been noticing it, I noticed it for a while. I just didn't say anything to you but she did. And when I thought about it, like my coaches have told me that because I'm very I've always been like a nerd in school, very analytical thinker, and she told me that and it brought it to my attention and it was slowing me down just because I went to the sports psych guy with the Packers and he told me it was called paralysis by analysis. So you trying to be so aware of everything that's going on that you freeze yourself and you know what I mean? And that would happen to me and it would be times where she'd lead a game and be like, babe, you just look a little slow today. Mm-hmm. I'm like, girl, be quiet. Like, what But when she did that, it made me, have to work on myself, because I did realize I was confident, but it was almost like pretend confidence just because I know I'm supposed to be confident because I'm in the NFL, In my mind, I still hadn't proved myself enough. And man, we had that conversation and I went, to the sports psych guy, just talked to him about it. And he's just kind of telling me everything that was going on. And he told me about imposter syndrome and just thinking that you are, everyone else thinks that you're something else, and but in your mind, you still don't feel like you deserve it, That was really something that I was dealing with. Sports psych guy a few times a week, man, talking with him. And she told me though, she's like that's what I like right there, and just seeing how fast and just quick and just making fast, full speed decisions. It was a game we had against the Rams. I'm in cover 3 in curl flat. Quarterback dropped the snap. It's a rainy game. He dropped the snap, and I shoot the B gap, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm in coverage. I shoot the B gap, and I go get a strip sack, and it's critical part in the game. And it wasn't even, and she's like, I was surprised you went that fast. I didn't think you were going, you know what I mean? And so that was the moment I told her, I was like, whenever I write a book one day, I'm gonna come back to this situation, this conversation we had. We just laying in the bed, man. I'm watching my iPad and she tell me that. But that's what I think about all the time. I'm telling her that was the big moment in my career where I feel like my trajectory in my career changed because I started 17 games last year, but I was kind of forced into a vet role, but I was still new. I had only started 3 games before I started out 17 last year. Though, too. Yeah, so I'm really having to try to accelerate. I got to help, kind of help bring him along too. But like I said, it wasn't. I'm not saying it was pretend, but I had to play this role of, I'm a vet, but really I'm just as young as you, Peter. In my mind, that's how I used to think about it. Right. But man, when we had that conversation, it just, she just opened my mind to